Good morning, beauties, beautiful humans. How are you? How are you traversing these very windy roads, these very interesting roads of life on earth? How is it for you today? Well, this morning I had every intention of sitting down and doing this much earlier, and we have been in rainy time over the last couple days, and I glanced out the window and saw that my entire fencing system had fallen over, and a plant had, the pot had cracked, and things, life on earth, right? And I had to build a fire, or I got to build a fire, because that's how I heat my lovely little space here. And all of a sudden it was all of those things, and it brought to mind that statement, that old statement, chop wood, carry water, right? And it's associated also with enlightenment, and then chop wood, carry water, right? It's whatever enlightenment means, right? That's, as far as I'm concerned, there's no stopping point, right? It's awakening, right? We keep choosing to wake ourselves up from whatever dream we have placed ourselves inside of, right? Sometimes it's that dream of automatic, right? Returning day by day to the same structures, to the same systems. And sometimes we get a wake-up call, right? We get a wake-up call like, oh, the entire fencing has fallen down, and no, you aren't going to just plow ahead as planned, right? And then sometimes we get really big wake-up calls, and those are usually harder wake-up calls, and we don't wish those on anyone, nor do we wish them on ourselves. But sometimes we do need to have a wake-up call. Now, what I want to say to this is, yes, we still chop wood, carry water, right? Still the essential things of the day, right? The mundane, so to speak, beautiful things that we take care of every single day, right? Just being a human involves daily attendance, yeah, and it can feel like a lot, which is often why we will go on autopilot, right? Just autopilot our way through. And what I'm suggesting here is that we can wake ourselves up on purpose prior to any need for the universe, the divine, right, whatever you wish to call it, needs to, or our subconscious selves, needs to give ourselves a really rough wake-up call, right? And you know how it goes. If you've been in life long enough, in those days of sort of unconsciousness, how we get one sort of little wake-up call, and then a medium-sized wake-up call, and then a big wake-up call, right? And so at this point, at this juncture, you can call yourself into awakeness as often as possible, right? During your day, noticing, oh wow, I was just unconscious for the last hour, right? What was I doing, right? Yes, maybe you were working or even driving, right? And suddenly you're halfway to your destination and you have no idea what was happening in the world around you, or even how you drove yourself there. So I am suggesting that we wake ourselves up frequently so that we can choose the experiences that we wish to have, so that we can design the experiences we wish to have, so that we can also choose how we wish to respond to life, to what life brings to us. prior to any need for any crash and burn, right? Any big giant slap upside the head, so to speak, right? We can choose. As always, it involves that simple practice. You know, this practice that I'm speaking of comes from thousands of years, really, of many, multiple layers of teachers suggesting this to me and to so many millions of human beings over all of this span of time. Pause, lean back, breathe slowly and deeply with conscious awareness, and embody. You came into this lifetime to be in a body, not to get out of a body, to actually be in the experience of a body, right? And this morning, after I picked everything up and stacked everything back up and took all the shards of the pot and said I'm sorry to my beautiful lavender plant that had gotten crushed, and right, then pause, lean back, breathe, feel the body. Yeah, it was cold out there and it's wet, and I came inside and the fire had started to warm things up, and I got to sit down before making this video and take a sip of a really nice, beautiful, warm drink that I had made and call in my guides, right? I think I've shared with you how I do this. And when I say call in my guides, I don't have, you know, some people have guides that have names, they have, right, they have stories, they have backstories, right? I just know that I have had these guides with me all of my life. They don't have particular form, they don't have particular names. I feel them, and they've revealed themselves to me in various ways, right? In various, yeah, there are many, many stories, but they're not in form, right? I don't have Joe, Francois, and Raymond. I don't know why French names just came in. Maybe they are French. Maybe that's why they're telling me, yes, you do. But, right, I choose to call them in. I choose to say, I'm inviting in and calling in my team, right? The word team has always been the most appropriate for me. And it goes like this: calling in my team, I ask that you stand to the front of me, to the back of me, to the left and to the right of me, below me and above me, in, through, and as me, informing, guiding, supporting my way today, keeping me on the beauty way, the big love way. Right? This is just something I've done for a very long time. And it came in and it felt appropriate and it felt good, right? This is something also that I'm constantly here to support. Really learning to attune to your own body, right? To your body's resonance, right? To the information that it brings you, your soul, right? Speaking through the voice of your body, learning to discern what feels truly resonant, truly good to you, so that you can make choices from a clean, clear place, from a clarified place. Yeah, this is something you can support in yourself, right? You can start practicing calling in your guides, even if it feels like I don't, try it and see what happens, right? I'm frequently saying over the most mundane things and big things, can I get a little help here? Thank you. Right? That's a straight up prayer. Can I get some help here? Thank you. and affirming with gratitude, right? Always thanking my team, my guides. Thank you for walking with me. When I do sessions, when I do oracle sessions, I call in the clients' guides out loud in their presence. I call in their team, even if they had never spoken of a team before. I ask their permission, of course, first. And I invite and give thanks to their guides for being in the room, right? In the session, on the Zoom. It doesn't matter which format, it's all energy and it all works beautifully. And then sometimes, right, I'll get messages that there's no way I would have known, because from my perspective, their team, which means the high level of that person, we can call your guides or your team, your higher self. There aren't really words that can pin down these phenomena that we have so far culturally not accepted. Many of us individually have accepted these things and known of these things because we were born having these experiences, or you cultivated these experiences during your lifetime because you had a particular calling to do so, right? But we don't have a training program or a lexicon or a vernacular that we all use to describe these experiences. We call them supernatural, paranormal. Normal? No, thank you. So, yes, you get to define and decide, and then practice, right? Practice that too. Do your pause, do your lean back, do your long, slow, deep breath long enough until you feel that drop, right, down and in, so that you have this vessel that has capacity to receive something new. Of course, always affirm, right, what kind of energy you wish to work with, right? I always, and I've said this to you, and I say this all the time, I work for the big love. So when I call in support, I ask for those of you who are walking with and committed to the big love and the big love only, right? You define what you are willing to work with. That's why clarifying your body, temple, working with clearing out distractions, right? Distractions, habits, things that keep you cloudy, things that keep you confused, things that have you feeling afraid. You want to really do that clearing work, especially now, before we end this year of 2025, this 9-year, this conclusion of a 10-year cycle, this closing out year, to really, really clean house of things that are creating distractions for you. Right? You know what they are. We each know, right? We each know. And so to be stalwart and determined, a disciple to yourself, to lift yourself up to that next level that you wish to go to. Not that somebody else wants you to go to, or that you're comparing yourself to anybody else, where you wish to go. But really clarifying your space, clarifying what kinds of energies you wish to work with, and being super clear about that. Okay? Clear as a bell, ringing a little bell, right? Over and over again, right? You're in here for the harmony. You're in here for the beauty, right? You're tuning your station into the beautiful song so that you can resonate a beautiful song and be part of the wave of lifting humanity, really, right? Nothing less than that. So, from chop wood, carry water, to lifting the entirety of humanity, luckily, you're not alone, nor am I, right? Figure 8, it's a give and a receive, and it's a connection. It's an eternity. We're all together here. And those of us who decide to align with and clarify our beautiful body temple on behalf of bringing in more beauty, more love, more harmony, more resonance with next level gifts and awarenesses, right? To remember that that's what's happening. If you want that to be what is happening. So we'll get out that big, beautiful broom and sweep out the detritus as we close down this year. Okay, sweeping out what is really over 10 years, what you're really, really, really ready to put on the burn pile, on the compost pile. And getting super clear, right, about making a solid, big, massive vessel that's grounded and rooted so that you can receive these next level codes, right? These light codes, right? This is what's happening. And I'm saying this in reference to literal sun, you know, these coronal mass ejections that are coming like so fast and so hard. Those are light codes, right? They are literal light codes. We can take the word code away, but if we want to. But this activity from the sun is affecting us. We don't know exactly how, but we can create a field of positivity around it, because you being in charge of how you are responding to life is what creates the field that you wish to be in. That doesn't mean that you won't and I won't have painful times, difficult times, challenging times. That is part of life on earth. But as you refine your ability to respond, even those challenging times will still have room in them for you to pause, lean back, and breathe yourself back down and in, and choose a response. Okay? Doesn't mean we won't cry when we need to, feel rage, right? And dance our rage, move our rage. All these emotions, letting them pour through rather than sitting inside, and then we put a lid on top, and then we have more feelings. We put a lid on top of that until we are literally going to explode one way or the other. So circulation of energy, circulation, move it, feel it, reveal it, move it, not blasting it onto somebody else, consciously deciding this is my practice. Yeah, taking charge, being sovereign. Okay, beloveds, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful beings, humans. I love you, sending so much love from a wet and rainy Monday. Big, big love. Talk soon.